Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to class. Today we're going to do a revision part question on your data analysis topic for ICT practical. And I took the liberty of uploading pip files. Okay, the question will be answering to and two source files. You will need to answer the question. So I'll be explaining the procedure to do it. So let me go into the ICT small group properly and do that. So I'm in Opulentus for this and then the ICT small group. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to click on two more attachments so I can see all the files. And then I'm going to download these files and put them in a folder on my desktop. Okay. My bad. Sorry. Let me just have that open and download again. Save that. So I'm on my desktop. I'm going to create a new folder there. Let me call this revision year 10. I'll just put 110. Okay. And I'm going to save this first file here and download the second. Okay, so I'm using Microsoft Edge. That's why I'm going through this process of clicking the Save As to bring up this dialog box. Still in the same folder. Okay, so I'm not actually saving that on my desktop. It's on my document. I'll still move the folder. It's fine. Okay, so I have the top part. Right, so I can open up to that location where it is. I saved it on my desktop and I can see the get 10 revision. So I can just cut this file, go to my desktop and put it there. Now I'm putting it in my desktop so it's easy for me to locate the file in the, from my desktop. So these are the three files we're going to be using. We need the question paper and the two source files. Okay. So the question one says create a new word process document. You will use this to show screenshots of how you have completed the task. Okay. So I'm going to create a folder. I'll go to that source file folder I created on the desktop. Right click on an empty space, go to new, and then choose Microsoft Word. Now, the question said we should, sorry, one moment. I think I should just split the windows. So it makes it easy for me to do what I need to do. That's better. So it says place your name, center number, and carrier number in this document. Then save this document with the file name evidence in your work area. So I'm going to open this up. So it said I should place my name, center number, and candidate number. Okay, in the header. So they specified where I'm supposed to put it in the header. So I'm going to go to my header section. Just double click here for shortcut, or you can go to insert and choose header. So I'm using the shortcut. I'm going to put my name. In this case, you might want to use the center number. So the center number will be on your question paper, which is NG470, and then candidate number, which will be given to you. So in this case, I'm using 007 as the candidate number. Okay, so once that is done, I'll close my header and footer by coming to where it says header and footer design and then close the header and footer. Now it says we should save this file with the file name evidence. So I'll go to file, then save as, make sure it's in that current folder that I'm working with, and type in evidence. Okay, so now I've typed in evidence, I'm going to click on save. So if I look at my work area folder, you can see that I have the file saved up there. Now question 2, okay, we've done question 2 and we saved it. Now it says you work for a company called Courthouse Design. You're going to manipulate a spreadsheet about some holiday bookings for a client called the Relaxing Holiday Company. Using a suitable software package, load the file nxsheet.csv. Now, if you want to know the suitable software package, just look at the icon there. So this is giving you an Excel icon that supports .csv, comma separated value. So they said we should open that up. So let's open it up. Okay. Now, it says place your name, candidate number, and center number. So they twisted it a bit. Your name, candidate number, and center number in the what? Header. Now, notice this is different. Here they said your name, center number, and candidate number. So it's supposed to be your name, candidate number, and center number in the header. So I'll go to insert and let me just open it wide. Then go to header and footer. So the question said we should place this in the header. They didn't specify if it is left, center, or right alignment. So I'll just use the center. So I'm going to put my name. Don't worry, it's fine. Just keep following. My name. Then this time around, my candidate number before my center number. Now I can go to the other part of the question. Okay, let me just exit my header and footer. Now I said if you want to exit your header and footer, just click on any of the cells and then come to the bottom where you have that green strip, and towards your bottom right, you'll see 3 icons there before your zoom drag bar. So click on where it says normal, and that should bring you back to this view. The next part of the question, in the destination column, so we need to look for the destination column. This is it. I'm going to expand my column width so I can see everything properly. So I'm doing auto fit. So this is the destination column. It now says in the destination column, use a lookup function. So now they want you to use the lookup function. Now this is a function that we haven't done yet. It was supposed to be part of our topic. So please just pay attention. I'm going to explain how this works. It's pretty straightforward. Use a lookup function to show the destination name, okay, in full. Use the code column. So this is the code column for the lookup value and the file nxdex.csv for the array. So they are telling you what your table array is. Let me use the highlighter. Okay, so we can pick out keywords. So we know that we're putting whatever we're putting in the destination column. We're making use of a lookup function. And then what we're supposed to display here is the destination name. So we need to find in our table array the column index that has destination. And we're using the code column for our lookup value. And this is the file we're supposed to use for our table array. Okay. Now they said this function must include both absolute and relative referencing. So they're giving you a hint of what they must see in your lookup function. And again, they're saying do not use a name range. So do not define a name range for it. So to do this, I'm going to go back to my source file folder and then open up the nxdex.csv file. So just permit me if I minimize the both of them. So I'm going to come to my destination folder and use the lookup function. Now, if you want to know, there are two major types of lookup function you will use. The first one is the HLOOKUP, and the second one is the VLOOKUP. So how do you know when you're supposed to use the HLOOKUP and the VLOOKUP? Now, your lookup value is what determines whether it's a HLOOKUP or the VLOOKUP. From our question, they said use the code column for the lookup value. So this is our lookup value. We need to use this value, right? So we are taking this first value, let's assume BRA, and we'll come to our table array, which is here, and search for where we see BRA. So this is BRA. Now our search method is what? Vertical, because we're searching from top to the bottom. So our search method is vertical. We're searching from top to the bottom. That means we're going to use the VLOOKUP. If our search method for the BRA is horizontal, like from left to the right, from left to the right, that means we're going to make use of the what? HLOOKUP function. So you look at your table array and then look at your lookup value. Then you know whether you're to use VLOOKUP or HLOOKUP. So let me explain this again for clarity. To know whether you're supposed to use the VLOOKUP, which stands for vertical lookup, or the HLOOKUP, which stands for horizontal lookup, you look at your lookup values, which is this. Okay, you can use one as an example, or let me use the CUV as example. Then you come to your table array. This entire area like this will be your table array because this is where the value is. Then you now look for the column that has your lookup value, which is here. Then how are you searching for instance CUV in this table array? You're searching vertically for it. So vertically till you get it. That means you're using VLOOKUP. But in a case where you're searching horizontally for that code, then you're meant to use HLOOKUP. So to do this, I'm going to click on the destination column cell because that's where we're supposed to do that. Then I'll say equal to and type VLOOKUP. So it's going to bring up the lookup function for me. Now it's asking for our lookup value. The lookup value was specified to be the what? Code column. So I'm going to take this code here, then put a comma. Now it's asking for the table array. Our table array is in the second spreadsheet. So I'm going to come here and bring the NXDEX sheet, okay? And then I will highlight our table array, okay? Then I'll hit comma so that the next one will come. So it's asking for the column index. Now the column index is in what column do you want to retrieve the value you intend to display in the destination column. Now looking at our question, it said in the destination column, we should use a lookup function to show the destination name. So we're supposed to put the destination name in full. And when we look at the NXDEX here, you can see that the destination column is here. And from our table array, which we selected earlier on, right? The destination column is in column 2. So this is column 1, column 2. So our column index is going to be 2. So I'll just press 2. Okay? Sorry, one moment. Let me edit my formula bar. Sorry, one moment. Okay, so it's asking for the column index number. I'm just going to press 2 and then I'll hit the comma. Notice that anytime I use the comma, it takes me to the next argument. Now, what do I want to show here? I want to retrieve the exact match for it. So I'll choose the false option, then close the bracket and hit enter. Okay, I'm going to repeat with the second one. Now I'm going to say equal to, v lookup. Now our lookup value in this case will now be the CUV. Then my table array will be this value. Then I'll hit the comma again. It's going to ask for my column index. The column index will be 2. Then I'll put comma here. And then it's asking for my lookup range. I need false, which is the exact match. Okay? So I'll just double click on it. Then I'll close the bracket. Now take note, they said in the question that your formula, this function must include both absolute and relative reference. If you look at this part of the formula, P3, which is our lookup value, is showing that we have what? A relative reference there. Now for our table array, it's showing that we have a fixed reference. So what this means is that here you're opening the NXDEX sheet workbook, and inside that NXDEX sheet workbook, you have the NXDEX sheet, and inside there you're making use of the cell range A2 to B17. Okay, and they are all relative reference. Then we hit enter and it gives us the name. So what I will do is I will just double click to replicate the formula. Okay, now I've replicated the formula and it's produced all the other names. So let's move to the next question. Now, yes. Okay. So it says create a name range for the cells D25 to D98 inclusive. Call this range DC. So D25, this is column D25 down to D98. So I'm going to select okay, so D98. Now I'm going to right click and then do define name. And they said we should call this name DC. So I'm going to put the DC there. So just to highlight, we're creating the name range with using these cells. Okay. And then we need to call that name range DC. Now it says take a screenshot to show this name range includes these cells. Include this screenshot in the document created in step 1. So I'm going to right click on this again and bring up my define name cell. Okay. Or better still, I can go to formulas and then where it shows define name, I can just click on this. It's not showing me the define name here. Okay, so let me just do DC again. It doesn't really change it. Then this is the screenshot you're supposed to take. It shows that D25 to D98 has been considered as what? DC. So I'm going to take a screenshot. Yes, you use your snipping tool. I believe we all know how to use snipping tool. Do we? Snipping tool. Okay, let's do this. Yes, I understand. I understand. Okay, I know the Zoom is not really synced. So what we'll do as much as possible, just follow the as best as you can. I will still upload the video like I said earlier on, and you would see how to do that. So in the meantime, just work with this. Okay, one moment. Because I'm using the server PC to do this example, so it's not giving me the option to show you how to use the snipping tool. Now, the snipping tool is an application that comes with all Windows computers, well, excluding the servers. You can type on your search bar snipping tool and it will just bring it up. So I'll show you an example how to use the snipping tool. So let me give permission to share the screen. Okay, just one moment. Okay, so I'm going to share the screen now so you can see. Can you see the screen? Okay, so looking at the NX sheet here, if you want to take a screenshot, let's assume yes, you can use that, but I don't want you to use that. So let me just do the example here. I'm highlighting all that code again. All right. Then I'm going to right click and do the file name. And they said we should call this DC. So I'm going to come here to my search bar and type snipping, just like this. Okay. So it's going to give me the snipping tool icon, or this is it actually. So if you search your computer, you have that as well. Now to set your snipping tool to take screenshot, in some computers, it might not have been configured properly. So you may need to configure it. So you can do options. Okay. And then, okay, no. So you can click on this arrow and always choose a rectangular snip. Okay. Don't use the freeform snip or window snip or full screen snip. Don't use any of those ones. Use the rectangular snip. This is what I warned about. Who is trying to take control of my screen? I said, don't interrupt my class. Whoever is behind that name, Hope, this is the last warning. Don't repeat it again, because I will trace you and you will not like what will happen. So you click on new. When you click on new, every time you want to take a screenshot, just click on new, and then you can drag across the area you want to take the screenshot on. Then once you take that, you just copy and then paste in your evidence document. Okay, so that is it. Let me just proceed here. I'm going to use the alt print screen in my case to take the screenshot. Then I'll go to my evidence document, one house, and say evidence 1, and then underneath, I'm going to put the screenshot there. Okay, I'm taking the screenshot again. So I'm going to do Alt print screen. And I'm going to paste that. So in this case, mine is showing a little bit. I need to crop that. So I'll use my picture tool. This is one of the reasons why the snipping tool is useful. What's that? You're still frozen there? Okay. Can you see my sharing? Should I repeat the process? Okay. So I came to the file and then I'm doing Alt print screen. That would bring my icon here, or the place I took the screenshot of. So I put that there. Then please always remember to save. When you put a screenshot, save. When you complete the task, save. Okay? All right. So I'm going to click the save icon. Okay. So now the next thing we want to do is to follow the next part of the question. It says create a name range. So we're creating another name range for the cells E25 to E98 inclusive, and then we should call this name range DI. So using here as well. So I'll just drag down, and then I will right click and do define name, and I'll call this DI. So the same process, we need to take a screenshot of this. Okay, so the question says take a screenshot of this and put that in. So I've taken the screenshot, I'll go to my evidence document and say evidence 2, and then I'll put in the screenshot there. Then remember to save, so I'm doing Ctrl S to save. That's the shortcut to save. And then I'll click OK. The next part of the question, create another name range for cell F25 to F98 and call the cell DU. So this is it. I'm going to select all the cells. Okay, do the same process, and this will be DU. So I'm taking a screenshot again, and I'll put that in my evidence document. So this will be evidence 3, and I'll put that there. Okay, so notice that my evidence is taking well, the evidence heading and the screenshot was in a different page, so I'm moving it. Now, as much as possible, always work with the standard practice of adding just 2 screenshots to a page. It makes it easy for the examiner to read your screenshots properly. Is that clear? Okay, so I've done this. Let me save. Save again. Now, the next one, so taking the screenshot already. It says in cell C2, use a function to count the number of trips. So we're putting this in cell C2, and we're using a count function to count the number of trips to the destination, okay? The destination where the value in the decode column matches the content in cell B2. So we're not just using a count function, we're using what we call a count E function. Okay, this is a higher level function of count. Okay. Now it says this function must use the current what? Name range. So cell C2. Now it says we need to do a count. Now where the number of trees match the destination value in the decode. So if we look at our spreadsheet, let me minimize this window so it's easy for us to look. So if you look at our spreadsheet, we have cell C2, which is strip, and where's our decode? This is the decode. So we're going to do a count if, right? And put the value there where it matches decode. Okay? So I'll say equal to, sorry, one moment. Equal to, then I'll say count. Now, when I type count, it's giving me the different functions and what they do. So count the number of cells in a range, okay, contain number. Now, this is count the number of cells in the range that is not empty. This one counts if it's empty. Then it says count the number of cells within the range to meet a given condition. So here they gave us a given condition. Okay, so what range are we counting? So we're counting this range, right? Okay, and that is DC. So remember we renamed this cell as DC. So when we highlighted it, this is giving us the DC. Then I'll say comma. What is the criteria? The criteria is supposed to be what? The code here, which is B2. Ashraf and Alamin, you can go out since you're not ready. Just walk out. Again, now it's asking for, first of all, the count is asking for the range, meaning where we want to count from. So this is saying the decode column. So we need to count the decode column. So I'm going to put DC, which stands for the decode, the name range DC. Now it's asking for the criteria. So the criteria is going to be this code, meaning anywhere you see BRA in the decode column, it should count only those values. So it's going to count 1, 2, 3. So anywhere it sees the BRA, okay? Then I'll close that and hit enter. Now it says replicate this function to C3 and then C8. So I'm going to click on this, come to the bottom right corner, and then double click on it when I see the black cross. And that replicates the function. Question 10. It says in cell D2, use a function to add the total number of days, okay, using the duration column. So this is our duration column, which we renamed as what? What did we rename the duration column as? DU, okay? Now, using the duration column booked for this destination, okay, this function must use the correct name range. So in cell D2, I'm going to say equal to, now I'm going to use the sum function because it says add the total number. So sum if now. So it's asking for the range. The range will be this duration. Okay, which is DU. Then what is the criteria? The criteria is if it is what? Oops, sorry. The range will be here. Sorry, decode. Sorry? Yes, I'm highlighting the DC column, right? So this is the range. Now the range is where do you want to sum? So those ones. Then it's now asking the criteria. So the criteria is BRA. Then it's asking for the sum range. So where are you adding the values, which is the duration column, DU. Okay. So once I get this, I will close the bracket and then hit enter. So you see I'm getting that sum value. Now it says replicate the formula, and then I will double click to replicate the formula. Okay. Now the next one, it says, which is question 11, in cell E2, use a formula. So now we're using a formula, not a function, to calculate the average duration, okay, of holidays booked to these destinations. Use the values in cell C2 and D2, okay, to help you. So we need to find the average duration, right? So we know that the duration here is now going to be the number of trips, right? The number of days divided by the number of trips, okay, to get the average duration. So this will be equal to number of days divided by the number of trips. So I'll hit enter. Okay, so before we do that, it says round up this value to a whole number. So I'm going to use a round function. I'll say round. Now this one rounds up the number, or the number to a specific number of digits. Okay, so I'm going to click on this. Now in the exam, if they're going to ask you round up, they might tell you round up, round down, or they might just tell you round. So in this case, they say round this number. So I'm going to click this. Okay, so this is the numbers I want to round. D2 divided by C2.